Hey, welcome back from a long holiday. Today we're on episode 1, 2, 3. This is the year of magical learning. Today we want to talk about life on Earth. So take it away.
Life on Earth. Oh, the short history of nearly everything. Yeah. So the book that we're going to be talking about today is A Short History of Nearly Everything by the author Bill Bryson. So I don't know if I can officially call him my favorite author, but he's certainly got to be in the top three. I would personally think if you put a banana peel to my head and maybe say who's your favorite author, I probably would say Bill Bryson. I love.
So how does he compare to Nassim Taleb?
Oh, to Taleb. So Taleb makes me think a lot, and it's provocative, and I like his interesting mix of philosophy, history, his own, personal, cultural stuff, like his own, and then math, and I like his interesting concoction that comes together from a practical application standpoint. His soul's in the game, right? And I respect that, and I think he comes up with some really brilliant ideas, and he stirs the creative juices. Bill Bryson doesn't stir my creative juices necessarily. He just mesmerizes me with learning. It's just it's like a learning bonanza of where, and somehow he just makes it enjoyable. I don't even know that I can describe a Bill Bryson book. It just feels like you're on a lazy river, just floating along, and and somebody's just hand picking out this beautiful curated knowledge, and it's hey, you want to learn about this? Here you go. You want to learn about that? Yeah. Here you go. It's and and it's not too fast. It's a nice flowing story too that he always tells. I don't know. I don't know how I would describe a Bill Bryson book other than that, but it just feels really comforting.
I think it's pretty accurate. Yeah. Pretty accurate on how he kind of navigates the I guess the histories.
Yeah.
In those nuggets, and kind of give you one piece like a breadcrumbs.
Right.
For you to follow.
You learn so much. The funny thing about Bill Bryson books is you learn so much, but at the same time, I don't remember nearly as much from a Bill Bryson book as I do from a Nassim Taleb book, because his provocation makes me think, and I get way more creative ideas out of it. I don't get a lot of creative ideas listening to a Bill Bryson book. I just enjoy it. It's just fun. It's just and it's enjoyable, So
you look at the Taleb book, you basically say, hey, these are the diamond and rough, and I'm basically showing you where it is and showing you how to find it. So you look at the map, and he tells you the hidden things, the secrets of how do you see, how you even look at a certain angle, and this is the treasures in the hidden gems, right? Of the world, the universe that he's pointing it out, and because of that, it really makes it memorable, just because it's so contrast to what we see every day. So, but Bill Bryson, he takes things that is so boring and kind of orchestrate in a way that it's hey, it's pretty. It on a performance basis, it's it's very.
It's really hard to describe. You're right. There's no mind bending things that you learn. In a he's just recapping history. But anyway, let's get to the reflection. But I think you're spot on with the Bill Bryson description here. So, but on with the description. My reflection title for this one is Life Goes On. And basically this book's about what the title says, is a short history of nearly everything. It goes from the Big Bang to the physics to the rise of civilization, like it says, and talks about I don't know. He studies all these anthropologists, archaeologists, mathematicians, reads their books, tries to compile it all in a nice, short, compact history of nearly everything from start to finish of humanity. Of course he doesn't touch on everything, but it is a really broad range of topics, and it's just a fun
I
book.
say nearly everything. It's not everything.
Right. Right. It's not, no, it's not everything by far, but it does touch on a lot. So I started this reflection off by saying, on a scale of, like we were just talking about, on a scale of 1 to 10, like the learning in particular aspect of this particular book was like a 50. Like, I mean, it was just off the charts. Like you just learn like just so much stuff. Like, I mean, the knowledge dump that goes into your head is like, mind blowing. As you're kind of meandering this journey with going on this meandering journey with Bill. Particularly for me, we've already talked about Bill Bryson and why that's the first half of the reflection of just why I love it. But the one thing that kept sticking out to me, as he was talking about, microorganisms and physics and the Big Bang and protons or proteins and DNA and all this stuff that he was going through. The one thing that I just kept coming back to my head while I was reading this entire book is like I don't know what the purpose of life is, and this isn't the goal of this journey. And I'm not even gonna pretend to sit here, like it's almost comical to say, like, if you ever meet somebody that says like, yeah, the purpose of life is this, like probably run the other direction. However, I will this book made me ponder, like, this world is so complex, and like there's so many different unique animals and organisms and microbiomes and bacteria and fungi and whatever, all these other things, right? There's just so many different life forms in this world, and they're all really unique and special in their own way. And like the thing that I kept thinking about when I was listening to this book, though, is he was describing the different eras when they would find, I can't remember what they were called, when they would find like the little organisms that they could tell a certain life. We learned in like the not the soul of an octopus, but what's that book about the octopus, the tree of life, and how like octopus, everything's kind of on the same tree of life, and it just branched off and went in different directions and evolved and formed different things. And anyway,
you mean the other minds?
The other minds, yes, yes,
other
that
minds?
was what it was.
Yeah.
So anyway, long story short, like my brain was just pondering, like, what the hell is the point of all this? Like, and I don't know what the answer is, but it felt like to me, for whatever reason, like the goal of life is just to exist. You know what I mean? And it never stops. Like, it doesn't matter how many organisms and how many species and how many, just different, like, things come and go in this world. Like, nobody's ever going to last forever. Human beings aren't going to last forever. Like, I don't know how long we have. I don't really care. At the end of the day, there's going to be somebody that replaces us, and some other life form that bubbles up from somewhere, and it just goes on. And there's something refreshing to know that like that's the one thing that I can always count on, is like, it's gonna be here. There's gonna be new things evolving. There's gonna be new things that are gonna take our place in the future. There's gonna be, new species that come out of nowhere that nobody ever saw, and can never even imagine at this point in time in life. There's gonna be new ecosystems that develop. There's gonna be all this stuff, and it always just happens like magically, like, and things just come from nowhere and go and live their life and then fall apart. But at the same time, the rest of life itself goes on. So I don't know, that was what I thought about when I was reading this book. Like it was just a great tour of life itself from start to finish, and all the different things that it touch on, and it's just really kind of special to know that we're a part of this, and we're going to play our own little tiny role. And I wrote the last line in here: if life can keep going, so can I. Like, and it just, I don't know, there's something really kind of special about the idea of just knowing that you're a part of this thing called life, and and that it's going to go on past our time. Like, our conversations are today, but somebody else will have a great conversation in 500,000 million years from now. I don't know who will be talking or how they talk. So it's just cool. I don't know. That it's a provocative thought for the day. So question that you can comment on it, I guess, if you want to, but question for you would be or anybody listen would be, how does all the life in this world inspire you as well? So just throwing it out there. Yeah, love to get your thoughts.
I think one of the that comes to mind is when you look at life, right? Life itself. This is the question I asked before: is do you think humanity will cease to exist, right? And a lot of people is debating me on that, and my own opinion on this is that it will always exist in one form or another, whether we are suffering, or we are succeeding in building culture and civilization further into, who knows what. And I think, that's always going to be there, because, it's a cycle of life. When you are born, right, you have a part in the ecosystem, and that ecosystem is going to continue to have your input, and your input will create output, and whatever those cycles connect, it will connect, and it will continue to go on and on and on and on. No one can predict the beginning of time, and no one can predict the end of time.
Right.
And if anyone tells you that, they just basically
they're just throwing shit at the wall. I mean,
yeah, there's no evidence. There's no
Right.
evidence in that, right? There's no concrete evidence in any of that. You're talking about Big Bang Theory, and you're talking about the end of the world. Well, that's that could be symbolic. Who knows?
Right.
And we a lot of people take it as literal. Say, hey, it's gonna be end of the world, and just like a dinosaur.
I don't even know
that'll
I don't even know that'll
Exactly.
be the case either. Like, I mean, life,
Exactly.
there's so, as long as there's one cell in this universe, or one, organism, or one, I don't know. Life just finds a way to exist. Like, I don't know how it does it, and I don't know why it does it. And I don't know that I really care. It just exists. Like, and its goal is to exist. Like, I mean, DNA will exist in some way, shape, or form. Proteins will exist in some way, shape, or form. The universe will go on,
like, will go on,
or not,
and so the thought that comes to mind is, the endurance of life. It is super amazing, and to me, I think I can count on it. I can count on it being here today, tomorrow, and many days in the future, infinite days in the future.
Right.
So talking about the whole ecosystem and life in general, that's something that we can count on. There's going to be life that is going to continue for infinite, bound of time. We don't know if it's going to end, right? And that's the thing, is we just don't know enough. We don't have information. But in the like the microscopic sense of life, for me, it's like when we ask, or even if we do ask, what's the purpose of my life? It's not about the purpose of life in general. No one can answer that question. Is what the purpose of life? But you can answer the question, what is the purpose of my life? Right? That's a big 100%. Difference. And it's gonna be a different answer for different people, and the answer is gonna be right for that person.
Right.
It's not gonna be right for other people, but it's gonna be right for that person. And so to me, that brings me to the second thought of the microscopic lens on life itself. Is what is the purpose of life? And the first question is, do we even ever to stop and ask ourselves that question? What is the purpose of my life? Don't ask a question of what's the purpose of life in general. Right.
That's
who cares about that?
Yeah.
Who cares?
Right.
I don't care.
I don't know that I care, but I there's something refreshing knowing that, like, it's going to be there. Like, I don't know why it's there,
right? But it at the same time, it because you have I guess they need to know how that is going to play part in your life. That's why you want to know. If it doesn't have any relationship or any connection to your life in particular, you wouldn't care. You wouldn't care a single bit. If you're talking about, let's say, if you say, hey, there is some kind of animal form in a billion universe to the east of ours, do we care? We don't care, because it doesn't affect our life here.
You could say that about you could say that about just pause real fast. You could say that about everything that happens, like in Kentucky. Like, does it affect your life? No. Like, who cares? Like, I mean, you know what I mean?
Like, the interest comes in is whenever you think it may help you, just like we studied the fungi, the bacteria, because hey, fungi, bacteria has something we can learn from them that may help us. Talking about how bacteria is able to defend viruses. So that's why, we studied the bacteria and how it grows. We studied fungi and its network, and we studied trees in the network, because we're hoping somehow that information is going to help us, with our life. And that's why the interest that. So, but you talk about the galaxy, like, a million light years away from us. there may be information we can benefit from, but there's no way for us to get it. So that's why we don't care until it becomes like, hey, there is a possibility that it's gonna help us in life. So that comes back to the topic that I want that comes to my mind is the microscopic lens of what is the purpose of my life, right? And like I said, you know, different people will have different answers, and their answer will be perfectly right for them. And so to me, an individual journey for that they can, you know, decide how and what and when they want to take that journey. Like, you know, we're talking about the quest, like, you know, the life's quest. Like everybody's gonna have to go on a life's quest. You have to be a participant. You can't just, hey, I don't want to be a participant, I want to be a player. That is not possible if you have life, right? Once you have life, you have chosen to enter into the quest of life. And you're gonna have to ask the question is, what is my purpose of life? And, you know, for me is, you know, I like primarily is to enjoy the time I have on earth, right? That's and that's to find things that make me feel good, makes my body not kick me in the shin or in the brain just because I did something stupid, and then, you know, I have regrets, and that's my brain kicking me inside. And so I don't want to have my internal mind and organs or whatever is, you know, giving me this feedback of, you know, that hurts, right? I don't want that. So for me, is I gotta find what it is that I'm fitted and best fitted to perform in terms of the work I do. Because of that, it provide positive feedback to my body. My body say, hey, you are fitted for this thing, you are excelling this thing. It makes me feel good, and whatever we wore, dopamine, whatever those dopamine that's hitting my brain, right? To me, that's my purpose. And it could be, you know, a you know, and not a good example of a life purpose, you know, but your purpose could be different. Your purpose could be saving the world. Your purpose could be, you know, conquest, or your purpose could be, you know, Mother Teresa. Whatever it is that floats your boat, you go and find that purpose. Find your purpose, not life purpose in general. And so for me, life is awesome, and life is enduring. It's always gonna be there, but make the best out of your life.
Right. Agreed.
In the spectrum of life in general.
Play your role. Play your role, and know that role is valuable. I mean, I don't know why it's valuable, but like, I know that it is valuable.
It's not valuable in terms of the grand scheme of things. It's valuable to you because that's your lens, that's your perspective, right? Because like right now, like if there's no me, there's no Chris, the life still goes on. It doesn't matter if I exist or don't exist, right? So my life does not matter in the grand scheme of things. It just matters to me.
But it does also at the same time. It does at the same time, because it's one of the same.
It doesn't. It doesn't.
You are a part of life.
In the grand scheme of things, it doesn't.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Because if I don't exist, somebody else exists in my place. You understand?
I do. I understand that, but at the same time,
so the universe don't need to have me, but it just need to have somebody like me.
It needs to have life, and it will have life, and it will have
life.
Some form of life, like whether or
not. But not this specific life. That's not this specific person, right? So that's gonna say in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't. If you depending on what lenses you're looking through, you may see the important changes just because, you know, the lens shows you different perspectives. But in the grand scheme of things, I agree. Yeah. It doesn't matter if I exist or I don't exist, because there's going to be another similar True or similar Chris, whoever, you know. It doesn't matter because life still goes on with or without you. But at the same time, like it cannot be, okay, well, there's no human, there's no this or no beaver or whatever, you know, we're talking about. There's an ecosystem that every single type of species has to play a part in to make the ecosystem work, to make the engine run, right? Without that engine, it could decelerate quickly and spiral out of control into one where it destroys itself totally, right? but from a one instance of life, me and you, it doesn't matter, but for all the instances it does.
Right. So therefore we matter. But I agree with what you're saying. Like it's a semantics.
We matter
like
collectively.
Right. But if we matter collectively, then we matter individually. And then
Yes.
I'm not saying that you and I in particular matter, but we matter in general. Like, I mean,
we matter. I don't matter. You don't matter, but we matter.
Which means that we matter at the same time. So I know exactly what you're saying, and I know what I'm trying to say. I don't know that I have the right words to describe what I'm trying to say, but when you were talking, I was thinking, do you remember the movie Men in Black, when at you know what I'm talking about, the last scene when they're in the bus locker and they like shut the universe, with the key. Like the whole thing was like Orion's belt, the key. It was like a key, right? And they went to the locker and they shut the locker, and then they zoomed out and zoomed out and zoomed out. And there's like one locker inside of like 500 other lockers inside of other lockers inside of other lockers, and you're and like, that's the way that I've almost like am seeing the universe at this point in time. It's like I don't know that we haven't already lived this exact same. Maybe New York City has been built. I just came back from New York City. Maybe New York City has been built an infinite number of times in an infinite number of lifespans, and we just don't even know it. Like I don't know. Like, I mean, it could be. I mean, it could not be. Like I have no idea. Like what's happened, what's come before us, and what's going to come after us. And I don't know that I really care. But like I think what is really cool though is to know that there will be something that comes after us, and there was something that came before us, and then we came from that, and we play our own little part to move the needle, the tiniest little teeniest little tiny notch, in whatever direction it needs to go.
The quantum knot.
Is that what it's called? Is that a quant? Is that what that is?
You know what a quant is? Well, a quant from Taleb's term is different from the quant in quantum, right? Quant is quantitative analysis in terms of Taleb's how he use it. A quantum is in terms of what I refer to is a quant in physics.
That's like the 4 different choices, right? Isn't that like 4 different choices of each different choice or something like that? Like I know I'm butchering it. I read the astrophysicists. I
have no idea what you're talking about.
I read like astrophysicists for dummies or something, and it's like here, quantum mechanics. It's called quantum, I think, because there's like 4 different like outcomes that can come from each different outcome, and that's why it's like, anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm not even gonna pretend to even know anything about this. But yeah. So like, I mean, honestly, this isn't a really deep reflection today, but like at the same time, it is kind of a deep reflection.
I mean, it is and it isn't, because the thing is, you're part of this amazing, enduring life that is completely unique, but also completely in a way that what's a word that you can't get rid of? It's you just can't get rid of it just because you want to.
Like a fungus.
It's very resilient, right?
Resilient.
Life is resilient. It's super resilient. You cannot extinguish. I mean, cockroach is part of the life.
Right.
And so it's so resilient that you can't get rid of it just because you wanted to. And I don't think anyone can get rid of it. It endures. And the lesson here is the amazing endurance of life, right?
Yeah.
And life has that, and we are part of that endurance. Therefore, we should be able to endure anyhow when we found, the why that we look for, right?
Right.
And to me, that's a lesson in this the discussion is, what is your purpose of life, and how wonderful it is to part of a lifeline that is so enduring, that is has been kind of like in moving forward, like millions, billions, who knows, trillion years ago, and it still continue to go. Because the thing is, everything has a half-life, and everybody knows what a half-life is. Everything is go half by half. That means that if it's a billion years that we have come, right, there's easily the chance of to go another billion years is so possible. It is very rare to kind of abruptly end it, just because the half-life theory of, and then half-life mean double, right. It's also double. So the lifespan of something, the longer it lasts, the more chance it is to double it. And so for a lifeline to go from billions and even trillion years ago and to progress into what we get to today, that means they're going to be here tomorrow and billion years afterward. And that's something we can be proud to be a part of that ecosystem. And then inside of the ecosystem, taking from a macro level to a micro level, is how can I play a part in it that will make my life something that I can, I don't know what your purpose is. Your purpose could
meaningful.
Be, meaningful to you. Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, for me, I think like as we've been talking, like I just feel honored to be a part of it. I don't care if
exactly. It's one of those things where people say, hey, life sucks or whatever. Right. You have an incredible opportunity just to be part of this amazing enduring life, and for you to exist in this lifetime, to be here on Earth. That's like, what was it that was the art of
it's
you?
1 in 400 trillion. 1 in 400
exactly.
trillion for you to exist. Like for life itself to exist is probably like 1 in, I don't even know how many numbers.
Gazillions or whatever, right?
I don't even. There probably is no number. Like there is no
exactly.
number. I mean, it's so improbable that that anything in all the things in this world exists. And it's just pretty cool. Like it's pretty fucking amazing that you and I can sit here and talk to each other.
So take that perspective.
Yeah.
Right. Take that perspective. Hey, you got this opportunity. Why are we so gloomed with our aspect of life? Say, life sucks. Well, think about it. You're having this opportunity. What are you doing with it? That's the questions of today is in my mind when you say life goes on, right?
Yeah, how does all this life in this world inspire you?
Does it inspire you to say, hey, I'm part of this unique, opportunity that is like unheard of. You just say, hey, I can't be here just because I wanted to. You by sheer luck, so much luck and chance for you to exist in today's society, in today's lifeline. And if you have the thought of saying, hey, my life sucks, I have to do this, I have to do that, well, maybe you should think about how you came to be and what is an honor it is to be part of this, and an honor to have an opportunity to catch that lottery ticket to exist on Earth. That may change his perspective on life.
It's just special. Everybody's special. Everything is special. Everything has a purpose. I don't know what it is, but but it does.
But everything has
everybody has a role to play.
Purpose.
Right. It's all just to keep marching forward. And I don't know why. I don't know why life exists. Like, I mean, that, like you said, like there's a difference between why does life exist and why does your life exist? That's a totally different question. So I don't know the first answer to that, and I don't know that we'll ever know that, and I don't know that we're supposed
I don't think anyone can know the answers to why life exists. I mean, that's a question that's been asked for thousands of years, I guess.
I mean, probably it's probably been asked in 7 different, 7, and it's probably been asked in an infinite number of timelines, that have already existed and before us, where like I said, who the hell knows? Maybe this is just the 100th millionth New York City that I just got back from visiting. You know what I mean? Like, and we just build the same thing over and over again, and then it wipes it out, and then we build it all over again. Like, who the hell knows? I mean, I have no idea. But anyway, it's special either way. So something. Yeah. I feel like
so that's just know that you're special, and life is special. It's by itself. So don't waste it.
Don't waste it. Yeah, get out there,
Like
figure out your purpose, and go live it. Be the beaver.
Your life, right? You have your life, right? Live your life. Don't be a living dead. Right? Live your life until you die.
Just do it.
Yeah, just live.
Yeah, just live. No, I love that. Let's I mean, I'm cool with wrapping for the night off of that one. It's a fun thought. So how does life inspire, how does all the life in this world inspire you is a question we can leave with everybody. And hope you all feel proud just to be a human, to be not just a human, be a life form in this world, in this universe, and whatever the hell we're in right now. So yeah, be proud. And we will see you all tomorrow.
Tomorrow sounds good. See.